Alright, today we are going to be playing through the indie hacking simulator Hacknet. So I'm not going to continue, I'll start a new session so you guys can see this from the beginning. Alright, let's start our new account. Now, one of the things that this game does to try to make it as immersive as possible is it really goes all the way for simulating you staring at your screen as the computer boots up and everything. And you can actually reboot your system throughout the game. It's actually a gameplay mechanic in some aspects. And here we are at the start of the game, following the computer boot up. Hi, this is strange. Stranger than I expected. I guess I'm supposed to write this in past tense, though I hardly feel like admitting it's over. My name is Bit. If you're reading this, I'm already dead. Ooh. And I'll wait for some more computer booting. That game starts off with a tutorial. As right now, we are at risk. Learn as quickly as possible. Begin the tutorial by clicking continue. Starts out pretty basic. The first node on the map down here is our computer. We need to connect to it. And then scan it for adjacent nodes by hitting the Scan Network button. Ooh, check that out. We are connected to another computer down there. Now disconnect. Now right now the tutorial is walking us through the GUI portion of the interface. There is a graphical user interface where you can use your mouse and point and click to do a lot of stuff. And one of the things that makes this a more unique simulator in the hacking game niche is that you can do almost everything with keyboard only. I'll show you that in a moment. So now we need to connect to an outside machine by clicking on the blue node on the map. And now it's going to start getting us into the typing. We can either click... Oh, see, we should be able to click that, but now we can't. It's going to force us to type in probe or nmap. Nmap is a real Unix command. So if you want to feel a step up from the girl from Jurassic Park who said she does Unix systems, well, she just pointed and clicked. Now you actually know Unix commands. People say video games don't teach you anything. So now we run the program port hack. Normally, these locked ports would prevent you from running port hack, but this says open ports required for crack are 0. So this is an extremely weak system. So type in port hack and hit enter. This little graphical thing of the port hack running, and the amount of space it takes up on the sidebar is an indicator for how much memory the program is using. Because this gray bar here that the tutorials take up a chunk of, that's your memory. We'll get more into that later. So now it wants us to scan for local nodes. And there are none. So this is kind of a useless computer. There are two things you want to do with it while we're here, though. I'm sorry, one thing, really. Go to the log system. And we want to delete those logs. Which will prevent people from seeing that we connected to the computer and did nefarious things. All the computers will have a home folder on it, and it's filled with some junk data. Typically, it's IRC logs that are actually taken from bash.org. Some of them are kind of amusing. They're really just there to give a sense of depth to the game. And that data file is unreadable. And now we can either click down here to the binaries folder like it's telling us to go to, or we can use some more Unix commands and type our way there. totally useless. Move to a folder in the directory tree. And our logs are done. Disconnect from this computer. Now, we have to kill the tutorial process, which you want to do simply because of the fact that it takes up a large majority of our available memory. And like an actual Unix system, you can type help to bring up various commands for the game. There are actually 3 pages of help commands. Help brings you to the first page, help 2 is page 2, and help 3 is page 3. So the PS command will list all of the currently running processes on the computer. So right now all we have is tutorial. The process ID is 116, so we want to kill it by typing in kill 116. And that ends the tutorial. There is an achievement for beating tutorial as fast as possible, so if you've played the game before and don't need to walk your way through the tutorial, then you can simply just skip right to killing the tutorial process and you'll get an achievement for that. So we get another email from Bit. Hi, I don't know you, and I'm sad to say I never will, but if you're reading this, it means you might be the only person that can make things right. Right now I'm trapped, there's no way out, not enough time, and I need your help. Something you need to take care of first, the faster the better. Hacknet OS wasn't meant to be released as it is now. After a while, an automated tracker will activate itself. We can't let that happen. Connect to your own node, and then find and delete security tracer exe. When you're done, reply to this email. Now, any note that has a plus sign like that you get in some various emails, will open up a note in your display over here. The note is actually an app on the computer, or utility, and you can use it to display any message you want in your memory there. Doesn't seem super useful now, but when you're trying to make note of something like an IP address while you're doing a hack job, it's nice to have that displayed and available for your reference. So in our file system, we're trying to look for, there it is, security trace exe. So we're going to remove that. And now we did what it wanted us to. We'll reply to his email. And there you go, another response. Great, this should keep you safe for now, at least from your own computer. Before we start, you'll need a few things. Port hack alone isn't going to cut it on most modern computers you'll find, not ones with anything worth looking at anyway. You should start by checking up on a friend of mine who goes by Viper. Goes on making fun of Viper's name, so on and so forth. But the meat of this is that we're going to download any files we find from Viper's computer using the SCP command. Once again, he gives us a note with some reference on the basics of the game. And more importantly, he gives us a link to Viper's computer. So like in the tutorial, you want to start probing the system. And again, like the tutorial, Viper's battle station is incredibly weak. We do not need to crack open any ports to hack into his system. And we're in. Now if you scan Viper's network, he's connected to the Entropy asset cache. We will look at that in a moment after we boot his file system. So Viper might be kind of a dork, but he does have one of the first cracking utilities that we're going to need to download. So there we go, now we have our own copy of SSH crack exe. And none of that's really relevant, so we'll skip it. We'll go ahead and remove our logs and jump ahead to the next computer in the system. Now this computer, the asset cache, has a firewall. To crack a firewall, you first need to analyze it. So we type in analyze command and you get a bunch of garbage data. Typically takes 5 to 6 analyze passes depending on difficulty of a system, and you see the garbage data being replaced by actual zeros, and whatever is not a zero is the information we're looking for. Pass looks like we'll do it. So starting in the upper left corner, and you're reading from left to right, we have time as the password. So enter solve time, and that will crack the firewall. Now we can run our SSH crack. The 22 I'm putting next to the crack is representative of the port the SSH is associated with, and we got the program running. This is probably the fastest crack in the game. It's already over. There we go. This is the last computer in this network, nothing else attached to it. We'll see what they have for us. Hex clock exe. Our logs, and nothing of import there. So we'll go ahead and remove our logs and disconnect. Hex clock is not the most useful utility you can find in the game. Kind of messes with the color system of your computer, and it displays time in hexadecimal. So unless you can read hexadecimal, not really the best thing. Kind of cool, but also kind of useless. So go ahead and kill that. So now we have the tools we were sent out to find. We'll reply to Bit's email and get the next leg in our quest. Congratulations! He admits he has no idea whether or not we actually completed anything or just replied to the email. He walks us through using the crack utility we just downloaded, which I already demonstrated. Again, he gives us a note for some of the security basics. And it gives us a link to another computer. Bitwise's test computer. He also mentions the autocomplete. You can hit tab to autocomplete a command. I've been doing that quite a bit. But that actually explains why it looks like I can type faster than I really can. Now Bitwise's computer is even not as robust as the one we just cracked. He has no associated firewall with it. So we'll bust open that port. Then run port hack. And again, the first thing you want to do is always hit scan to see if there's any more computers connected. Congratulations, we win. Now, the X server. I want to grab that while we're here. It hasn't been explained yet, but the X server is what really runs and visualizes your graphical user interface. So you can either manually rename the X server and reboot your computer to switch your theme or your interface, or there's a utility you can find later that lets you switch it on the fly. So as you run into various X server files, you want to grab them, check them out. It's a way to personalize your computer later. There really isn't anything else worth having on this particular machine, so we'll go ahead and remove our logs. And respond back to his email. Nice work. Here's where things will start to get harder. Now, Bit's going to ask us to do a favor. Go to a computer that he was in and did not clean up after himself. So we're going to head to this machine and clear out the logs so we can cover Bit's back. Not sure why he's worried about it since he's already dead, but seems like a nice guy so far, so we'll humor him. Again, a very, very basic system. No firewall or anything. Also, no tracking timer. Some of the more hardened systems will immediately start tracking you as soon as you take an offensive action, such as running a crack utility or analyzing their firewall. If you haven't seen that yet, these are very entry-level systems. Nothing else is attached to his computer. What's kind of interesting is every time you play, your IP address, which is in this case 84.85.240.100, is randomized. Bits is always blank. You can never figure out what his IP address is supposed to be. You can never go back and hack his home system. So there we go, we cleaned up back room. Now normally at some point during a Let's Play, I would talk about how long I've been playing this game or where I picked it up or why. In this case, I honestly don't remember at what point I picked it up. I had my eye on it since it was first being talked about on Steam Greenlight, and it was released later last year. However, I don't remember exactly when I picked it up, whether or not it was an impulse buy because I saw it on sale, or if it came in a indie bundle, because I tend to buy quite a few of those. So one day I was going through my Steam library, noticed it was in my library, and it's kind of like a little Christmas present for myself. Alright, so now Bit thinks it might actually be worth his time. And he wants us to go reach out to Entropy. We'll have to bypass a proxy server, which is going to take a few shells, which I will demonstrate up in those in a moment. Again, we have a note on how to do some of the basic commands of the game. That's going to take us a lot of memory though, so I'm not going to keep it open. This is a new computer link. This is the Network Education Archive. This is kind of like the help file on steroids. I'll show it to you in a second. And then we have the Entropy test server. So the education server, there are articles on all different aspects of how to play the game. A little more in-depth than just the help files available on your computer. So if you ever get stuck while you're playing, this is an option for you to go check out. At this point, I'm not going to break into it, because I don't... Why do I even say that? Oh yeah, because it's impossible. You need 5 ports open to crack it, and there's only one available. So even if I was to get through the proxy and the firewall, you're not going to be able to crack it. So, he mentioned proxies and shells. You can run a shell on your own computer with the shell command, and the shell has 2 possible uses. You can trigger a trap, or you can trigger an overload. In this particular instance, we're going to want to do overloads. And you can open up a shell on any particular computer that you have control of. So at this stage, I tend to like to have 3 or 4 open at any given time, because the more shells you're running at the same time, the faster you can punch your way through a proxy server. So we're going to open up 4 shells and clean up my logs after myself. Now we're going to work on hitting Entropy's test server. So I only need to crack 1 port. And there we go. Hit that overload on our 4 shells, and we are through that proxy already. else on that network. Bit, please read. If you're lurking, please come out of the shadows. I need to talk to you. Vapor won't get off my case, saying something's wrong. She's sure something's going on. Let me know. So someone's apparently noticed that Bit's missing. Zero cool and hack the planet. If you've seen the horrific movie Hackers, it's a fun little reference to it. Congratulations, download this file to complete your induction test. Entropy will contact you shortly. And look at that, another email. Greetings! You'll be the first to graduate locating and passing the Entropy Group entrance exam. While being an experienced hacker is relatively trivial, surprisingly few actually seem to manage it. So, go us. We can't officially join the group yet. Tailblade News Server has recently taken negative stance toward Entropy, and they want to temporarily disable the operation. So it's a second test, and has to bring down the server as a message board. If you can, leave the non-Entropy related articles and the rest of the server intact if you do not wish to be needlessly destructive. So this is kind of a theme for Entropy throughout the game. They try to be low impact, kind of more of the benevolent hacktivist. So we're going to go to /bot news and see what kind of havoc we can wreak here. So as you can see right away, here's the articles that Entropy is concerned about. Is Entropy engaged in malicious hacking? Suspicions arise over Entropy. The rest of these articles are pretty benign. Phones, general internet, everybody panic. Face space, oh no. And then some more tech articles. So once again, we have a proxy. Get our overloads going. Crack into port 22. Nothing else on their network. Do want to delete my logs right away. Nothing particularly useful or interesting on their homepage. Caution. Config sys is a critical system file. Do not delete or rename it. Doing so will crash the board and bring the host program down. So, that caution file just gave us our way to destroy this server. Now, we can either just delete the Entropy-related articles as requested, or we can delete everything. I'm not really sure what the ramifications are for going scorched earth. I have not tried it myself. Just didn't seem like it was worth the risk to me. But we will remove the config sys file. And then, it hasn't been talked about yet, but you do have a offensive program called Fork Bomb, which will automatically crash the computer that you're on. So we forked bombed their computer, and we let Entropy know the deed is done. Welcome! Tell me the execution of the first contract proved our abilities. We can now be gladly welcomed to Entropy. Small welcoming gift, you'll find the user details of the admin account to our asset server. So there we go. We have access to a server, which means we can log in and automatically get admin access. There's no need to hack into this one. we will see what they got for us. The SSH crack we already have. FTP bounce is the next piece of our hacking arsenal we're going to want to get a hold of. And we can check out Entropy's mantra. The group is founded on 3 pillars: strive for justice and righteousness in all things, create and share more than you destroy, never have never have an excuse not to improve. Entropy will deny contracts to go against these pillars and remove agents that violate them. So I kind of suspect if I go scorched earth on the message board, that they are going to look down upon that. So they have a backup of FTP bounce if we had accidentally deleted, or even maliciously deleted, the file from the binary folder. So that's it. We've gotten everything we need from them. Take a step to the next level. This is the game really starts to open up. Now we have access to Entropy's contract database. Now that we are card-carrying members of the Entropy hacktivist group, we can go to their available contracts. And this is a good spot to save it. I'll go ahead and stop here and we'll pick back up next time. Hope you enjoyed. Please click like or subscribe.